like the Rengar, like the Camille perhaps. Don't think we'll see the LeBlanc core. I would love to have his hands on it, but here we go. We'll get into the draft.
Will it be Operation Ban Out Marin? A lot of teams have been sending many bans towards Marin. Marin may be a couple of years older, but doesn't pick up new champions much. He likes his old champions, and he plays them so well, whether they're in the center of the meta or a bit to the side. His on-hit cannon has definitely gone around the world now that AP cannon is less of a thing with the changes, and BBQ aren't going to play with fire. He's going to ban Rengar on the blue side. Afreeca may have some latitude for some different bans. They were red side only for victories for a lot of the season, but we're able to turn that around.
So
Blue side
they're
only,
going to be
sorry.
sticking with these, yeah. As the Camille and LeBlanc are banned away. So what do they want that final ban to be? Could just go ahead and stick with the Varus. But Kramer, again, very comfortable to pick up the Sivir if necessary. Last ban, looks like 80 carry pool will get pinched on a little bit here as BBQ gets rid of the Ashe.
Where the Graves falls in this draft will be interesting. I feel like Spirit will lock it in if it's still available in second round, but Bless has been playing pretty much exclusively Rek'Sai so far this season. No reason that he can't jump onto the Graves himself. A final ban, like you say, for many teams would be Varus, and it seems like Afreeca, even though they've had the tonic for the Varus pick twice in a row, there still is the fact that you are losing pressure lane when you lock it in, and BBQ seeing the 80 carry pool pinched will just pick up the Jhin, you know, the biggest of the 3 picks available.
Yeah, I think this is a bit worrisome though, as that Graves is available for Spirit here in the first round over on the red side, so could just see that come through with an answering ADC before the next round of bans come in.
Afreeca have been very commonly taking their top laner early, so they've been just drafting, in this case it would be the Rumble or the Maokai. So actually I was expecting there to be this early priority on top lane. The reason they do this is they just trust Marin with his picks. If he gets the Rumble or the Maokai, it feels like everyone in the world knows what Marin on Rumble and Maokai will do. He will overextend on Rumble every time. We haven't even seen Spirit path around his side of the jungle. So they play very predictably with this pick, but it was, honestly, Marin's marshalling of the troops in Game 1 against SKT, never using the teleport on Rumble, even against Jace unnecessarily, and taking them through. And these are 2 of the most comfort and power picks for Afreeca Freecs. There's just not many teams that are willing to draft top lane blind as early as Afreeca.
Yep. And I mean, we saw just how difficult of a time he was giving Huni, even for that disadvantageous matchup that Rumble would typically have into the Jace, was still completely dominating that top lane. So Marin can really just show his prowess on that Rumble. Graves taken away. Bless going to move over to the Kha'Zix, so won't be seeing that Rek'Sai as you mentioned earlier.
Put that away. Put away that Nunu mid that you were considering there. Swain, though, would be a different pick against the Rumble. You'd imagine this would be a top lane pick if it was locked in, but could just be having a bit of fun with the hovers.
Was the flavor of Summer Split for quite some time, the Swain, but gonna flip back over, and we'll see the bottom lane come through here from BBQ as the Zyra gets locked in, but the MF is available.
And this is interesting. If Afreeca don't take an AD carry here, they're kind of inviting BBQ to double ban Sivir and Caitlyn, and then just be left with, say, the Ezreal for Kramer. If they take Misfortune, could definitely be a Misfortune AD carry. We haven't seen that in Korea just yet, but has been a big pick over in Europe. This will be interesting because you just feel like Kramer is ready to play MF ADC. Sivir also would be a big pick. Won't be the MF Zyra that often has come up on the red side just because you take away one of the big meta supports when you do that. In fact, 2 of the big meta supports in MF and Zyra, especially given the MF is considered that favorable pick into Zyra, but let's digress away from that point. Looking at the second round of picks, mid lane and top lane required for BBQ, but crimping the mid lane and giving Kuro a last pick seems like the way forward for Afreeca.
Yep, so Syndra, the first ban away. Something available that Tempt is very adept at playing would be that Talia. So we could see that come out, but it's going to be a Ziggs ban, actually, by BBQ.
Yeah, bot lane bans were what I expected. That's kind of the obvious place to attack from the side of BBQ. So first Ziggs, they know there's a physical damage auto-attack jungler, so...
Expect Ashe to be the follow-up there. Maokai is banned away from Crazy.
Ashe is already out, so it's kind of Caitlyn is all that's left.
Oh, you're right, that was
in
banned in
terms
the
of
first round.
the meta ADC. Sivir is the Kramer special. But do you really hate it if Sivir is taken, just because Sivir Karma will lose lane to Jin Zyra? This is a really intriguing spot.
Aurelion Soul.
And Kuro on the Aurelion Soul. It's not quite fly, but it certainly was very impressive. His Aurelion Soul performances was banned against him by SK Telecom as well. So Corki is available, could just be drafted. They want a blind pick, but that would kind of leave no value to their last pick unless it's going to be hiding the Sivir or an even more risky AD carry. They're just going to go for double solo lane blind picks if they are to take the Corki.
And something like the Rise still available, but the Cassiopeia would be on the board.
Interesting. So,
but, okay, Corki will be the pickup for Kuro. Always the offhand chance that Kramer's like, I'll just take this into bottom.
You're right. Especially with Kramer, like you say, he does things a little bit differently.
Does a lot of things differently. He's definitely eclectic with his champion pull and builds.
We saw Cogmore earlier this week from Maha. I don't know if we'll see that here.
Oh yeah, the Cogmore brand bottom lane.
Yes, the classic Cogmore brand. I mean, Tucson's played brand, so don't say that too loudly around him. And Ari is dropped in here against the Corki. That's a different one.
Okay, so this is something that Tempt was sort of known for before. We kind of saw him flash it throughout the promotion tournament, but has not really been that big so far for us here in Korea.
Which AD carry is it? Is it going to be the Sivir? Sivir looks very risky against this lineup of BBQ, but manageable. Ezreal is another option. Oh, baby, is that first Lucian?
Right.
It is.
It is. They're going to lock this in. This is a big pick for Kramer, as we would see him carry games on his back for CJ and Spring with this Lucian. So, seems to think that it's back in an adequate position. I mean, the lethality build was something that was massive for Lucian back in summer, so could see that come back through here for Kramer today. Whether or not it's going to be that black cleaver on the board, not sure, but the Yomu's Ghost Blade still very likely going to be a rush item.
I saw Bang playing it on stream yesterday. It was, once again, the lethality duo of the Ghost Blade into the Black Cleaver. So, very big chance that's the way it's taken here. Graves certainly will appreciate that with his AoE damage follow-up as well. So, lethality from both AD carries. Nice to see the return of Lucian after small buffs to his Q in particular to help his early trading. Afreeca just drafted what they wanted. They blind picked top, they blind picked mid, but it's ultra comfort for both players. Marin and Kuro both had big performances on Rumble and Corki respectively last time out, but Tempt thinks he has the answer to the Corki. Seen a lot of different picks. MVP will play in the Zed, that's kind of a famous pick. But Ari is a safer, if to me, even more risky option, because the split push gameplay is not available, so you kind of need to get ahead and hit those timings to really make the most out of Ari. Ari build will be an interesting track as well. And finally, the return of Lucian in the bot lane. Lucian Karma against Jin Zyra. The support standard, the Lucian, anything but, at least for the 2017 season.
Yep. Let's see how Tucson handles this bottom lane with Lucian coming back into the meta, because Totoro's been doing quite well, and Tucson's has had some faltering performances. But let's go ahead, let's get on to the rift for Game 1, BBQ versus Afreeca Freecs. All right, and here we are. Looks like a standard 5-point across the map. Overall here, so no cheeky plays like we saw in our first series. Nice little drawing we got coming through from the fans in the audience. So some BBQ fans still coming out, even though there's no free chicken.
I know, we found out the hard way. We were hoping for chicken, second series of the night.
Found out with our empty stomachs.
That's true. We're grumbling, but begrudgingly we'll cast a BBQ game, I guess.
I suppose, if I must.
Fervor is the keystone from Lucian. For those people wondering at home, or the Lucian mains, hoping against hope they can lock it in without someone saying change to Ashe, Jin, or one of the other meta AD carries.
Still might get yelled at, but...
And we get to play the fun game of what happens at level 3 or 4 in the top lane.
Where is Marin positioned?
Sometimes we send Afreeca do some interesting level 1s to try and provide coverage for Marin when they're on the blue side. Frequently they'll start red side jungle. maybe start the Raptors and then just allow Afreeca to Spirit to play around the top side, thus providing indirect coverage because the enemy jungler can't just walk up and gank the top lane, but not to be this time because it's a red side rumble.
You know, the Maokai is very adept at helping out the Graves start off. He throw down the saplings, but Marin just going to replicate that here with the Flame Spitter.
Ghost doesn't subscribe to the boot start on the Jhin, so we'll just be going to the now common longsword start.
Yeah, and Kramer sticking with the Doran's Blade.
Risky against the Zyra in particular.
Yeah.
Often we would see longsword in Zyra lanes. Feels like they should swap to some degree, but we are as we are.
He has the Karma to offer him up a bit of protection with the shields, so I guess feeling confident in Tusin's cover. Malzahar, something that was available that I thought maybe Tusin would go back to, but the last couple times we saw him play that, it was less than stellar.
It was the big pick for him at the start of the season. I liked his ultimate usage, specifically his suppression to deny Baron buffs. He was very good at playing around that objective, but as you say, was caught out a few times last time out.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of disjointed communication with the squad where he'd flash in, go for the Nether Grasp, but no one was there to follow up. So strays away from that, Karma much more consistent, much more utility heavy.
Don't worry, Marin. Nobody on your side of the jungle today.
You know, threw down that ward near the Gromp, so it's becoming, or has become a very popular warding spot for a lot of teams. But won't be spotting out Bless quite yet. Infernal Drake will be starting us off, so expect high priority over that.
Graves can solo it down pretty safely a little bit later in the game, but not for now.
Yeah, needs to get that jungle enchantment first.
Really hard 1-2 item spike for Afreeca Freecs. Rumble, Lucian, Corki. You know, really, really high spike, but feels like the late game will be pretty much in the advantage of BBQ. Not in a massive way, but this feels like after the second item, you know, Black Cleaver and Yomu's Ghostblade will be competed, we imagine, for Kramer. Feels like things start to fall away a little bit for Afreeca. Very strong siege comp, though, with 380 carries and the Rumble and Karma to provide engage, disengage as necessary.
Yeah, Bless been trying to find an entry here into the bottom and now mid lanes, but comes up short. The vision control here from Afreeca has been quite good, which means that Spirit was able to move over, get that second Scuttle Crab. And he will rotate around, drops a control ward. Doesn't want to go up towards top lane. Crazy is pushed forward, doesn't have any vision in the river, but looks like he's just going to go back in for his Raptors for now.
Marin's got a little bit safety first in his items. Famously would always buy Amp Tome 1 potion, but he digressed finally and realized he needed a second potion, so goes Ruby Crystal now.
And Plus yet again getting spotted. Scuttle Crab and throw down a ward inside the river to give a bit of cover for Crazy. Hasn't yet found that control ward. But now Spirit getting spotted out as he goes for an invade.
Going around onto Tempt. We'll probably have to do that to justify the time investment when he realizes that the Raptors are down, but nope, not to be. Level 5 from Tempt, so doesn't have the ultimate to run away just yet.
Saw him enter, but they didn't see him exit. Now the ward has expired, so he's going to come forward. Kuro throws down a bit of damage. Big burst. Can they finish him off? No, won't be able to find it in the end. He didn't have to blow the flash either. Kuro likely could have forced the flash if he had used the exhaust, but decides to abstain from using that summoner spell.
First time in a while we see Ignite mid lane from Tempt on the Ahri. Usually exhaust is the summoner spell of choice. We see a lot of Corki. Corki very obviously takes exhaust, Ghost, and teleport, other options. So solo kill potential when you take the Ignite. A lot of lane pressure naturally, innately from picking that particular summoner spell. No cost to use it just yet. For an Afreeca game, it's been surprisingly quiet. Marin hasn't been ganked. No big invade plays from Spirit. Game only gets better and better as we roll to the mid game for Afreeca Freecs, so no need to get too feisty.
Get those items coming in, and that's when we might see that explosive play come out. For now, neither jungler really going for any ganks, just pathing around, getting as much farm as they possibly can. See, both of them going to be starting off with the Tracker's Knives. Spirit just going to clear out that ward, so see where these guys are going to go to find their first gank.
Yeah, excitement's definitely going to come when the package is available, just because against Type, Kuro came up with a massive performance against both Faker and the aggression factor that has never really been there for Kuro as a player, especially in big matches. He would often be passive to a fault, but credit where credit's due. Played excellently against SK Telecom. Played with nameplates up for much of that game.
So Marin actually bought a control ward, but it gets cleared up by Crazy. So he is again vulnerable.
We go insurance first of the Merc Treads, though. Surprisingly little to talk about so far.
How was your Valentine's Day, Papa Smithy? You didn't call me, so I assume you didn't need a Valentine.
I did not need a Valentine, no. It was a good day. Did you have a Korean Valentine's Day? That's not just a Valentine's Day in Korea,
I was going to define that, where I match outfits with my girlfriend.
No, actually, I mean, that's just a normal date, actually, in Korea. A Korean Valentine's Day is, just to note, that Bless was the one that picked up that Raptor. The Korean tradition is actually that the girl buys the guy a gift.
Yes. Chocolate is usually the customary.
So it's not the male getting the female a gift as it is in North America and the West in general. To counterbalance that, there is White Day, which is 1 month later, the 14th of March, where the guy gets the girl candy.
Yep, and then 1 month later, there's Black Day, which is where all the singles rejoice. But in the bottom lane, Totoro getting caught out there, and the Strangled Doors will not get rooted by that deadly flourish. That's going to be the equalizer thrown down. Totoro just going to go ahead and sit alongside the wall. Hasn't been burned out yet, but a big Mantra Cube from Tucson flies straight and true, comes up with a kill, but now Marn in a bad spot as that curtain call comes through, but the rest of Afreeca pushing forward, able to body block on that, and Bless just too greedy, trying to push forward onto the kill into the Rumble, unable to come up with it, pays for it with his life. And Ghost and Temp, they're going to have to back off. Temp unable to come up with anything with his ultimate. Spirit Rush not going to gain much. In Afreeca, they put 2 kills on the board.
The attempt really slow to rotate, then when he came in instantly exhausted, Tucson the big star with the snipe to get first blood. A nice turn. They played around the curtain call really well, got a kill. Bless didn't expect there to be that sort of aggression coming out from Afreeca Freecs. Nice coordination, and coordination was something they showed in fits and spurts before the SKT match, and then suddenly we're on top of. So credit where credit's due. Nice stuff for Afreeca. Said that twice now, but we've been so hot and cold that you have to be consistent about crediting specifically Afreeca Freecs. Spirit looked here like he'd gone too far. Equalizer was just so positioned. Totoro was like, okay, guys, I'm not doing so well here.
I'm a little stuck.
But this turn is what I like the most to see. So everyone understood how to turn this. First the exhaust onto Blast, then the body blocking. They turned on. Tether continues. So Tucson, the big MVP of that particular play. And a second backup exhaust available from the Volkring in Kuro.
Yeah, just a second too late there for Temps, flashing, or dashing forward rather, trying to get that Orb of Deception in on to Marin. Couldn't come up with the kill.
Let's just finish off the Valentine's Day talk. So
sure.
So while you say that Black Day is the day for singles, which is strictly true, it's not quite as happy as you suggest. It's actually, they all eat a place of jjajangmyeon, which is black noodles, and kind of like a sad together.
Yeah.
It's not like a singles mingles day.
So if you go out on April 14th and you order that, everyone knows that it's just sad times.
But they kind of like, they're all there together, you know? It's like, well, it's not our year. Oh, maybe next year. So it's a 3-part tradition, the Valentine's Day one in Korea.
Oh, Afreeca starting up this Infernal, but they're going to get forced off of it by BBQ. The TP coming through from Crazy. Very tanky Nautilus, and it seems like Afreeca won't have a way to get in here. Spirit, he gets locked down. That's going to be the ultimate coming through, and he gets popped as Temp picks up the first kill here for BBQ. Infernal Drake will go over as Ghost finishes that off. And that's going to be a nice takeaway. Temp gets some answering damage on the back end onto Tucson. Making sure that the rest of his team is safe.
Yeah, Equalizer didn't get much done there. Seemed like BBQ split the right way, so not the most important cooldown to track, but still. They back away. Infernal Drake, nice pickup for BBQ.
Yeah, good call on that to go ahead and burn out the teleport. So they pick up a kill in that Drake. Nicely done by them. Still going to be at a deficit of 1.6 thousand gold, but it's a step in the right direction.
And a step that, honestly, shouldn't have been afforded by Afreeca. When you take such an early out of bot lane turret, it should be impossible for BBQ to actually get position on an early Drake, but they're just really assertive about it. And Afreeca rotating second, could get nothing done, so nice objective picked up.
See what they want to do to answer this, though. Afreeca starting to aggressively push into the jungle, blue side of BBQ. Get some vision control down.
They're pushing really aggressively. They look like they want to dive crazy.
This would be a bit risky. He doesn't have the ultimate, but he does have his flash. And can use that dredge line to get to safety. There's no way of interrupting that. So it looks like they will just stick Kramer up top here alongside Tucson.
Don't know how much fun Marin will have 1v2 as Rumble with no equalizer to clear the wave, although it will be up if a second minion wave is needed to take bot lane turret.
Seems like it definitely would be bad times. Meanwhile, Afreeca desperately trying to clear out this turret, but the wave clear from Crazy still quite strong. It's a grab in on a Spirit. He'll take that turret shot, knocks him down to about half. So good defense here for the Nautilus. Still very tanky, and they have limited ways of chunking him out.
Marin will have equalizer soon, so can invest that to keep the pushing war going just fine from Afreeca Freecs, who have abandoned the hopes of taking Crazy's top lane turret. Much to say about Tempt so far. Has kind of digressed from his build path. We've seen the GLP Ari, that was a favorite of Faker's in solo queue back at Worlds. It was the GLP into Lichbane. Protobelt was what he ran when he played Ari at Worlds. Protobelt into Lichbane, which we may still see here, but no Magic Mantle to deal with the double magic damage solo lanes from Afreeca.
Just trying to get that build off the ground. In the meantime, though, Marin not going to get caught, it would seem.
Had a minion wave and his turret to retreat to.
Yeah, but had his flash up, so he was relatively safe there. Blue buff could be taken away now as Bless showed on the bottom side of the map. Totoro would have to really try to get this one out of the hands of Afreeca, but Spirit has the smite, so he walks away with it.
Another Infernal spawning just as those item builds are going to be really underway for Afreeca. The Andres, Trinity Force already completed, soon to be Ghost Blade on the Lucian. There it is. Expecting the Black Cleaver, but could possibly move away from it. Outside
it's Kramer,
chance.
so I wouldn't be too shocked if we see something else.
Edge of Night would be nice to be able to walk up to a turret to do some turret damage, so while it may not be second, I think it will be on the menu eventually for Kramer.
Yeah, won't have to worry about the dredge line or the ultimate from Crazy or that charm coming in from Tempt, so
well,
Edge of the Night would be
the first one, maybe. The follow-up ones, certainly we'll have to worry about those a lot.
saying whichever happens first. Unfortunately for him, Edge of the Night will not protect him from everything.
Nope. Only Rengar has that ability.
Yeah. How strong.
Not for much longer, though. I guess Olaf has it too. But
the kitty will get neutered soon.
No complaints, Kilios. Though the thrilling hunts were amusing.
Oh, they're just wonderful. Going for a nice stroll through the jungle.
Speaking of a stroll through the jungle, that second Infernal Drake needs some prepping.
That was nothing to push forward. Look for this red buff. Smite does come out from Bless, but he gets chunked down to about half HP. Dragon's still about a minute and 40 off.
That's where you look at your items and you say, okay, Afreeca could not be more powerful. Doesn't mean you necessarily just instantly give up either the outer turret or the Infernal Drake, but certainly something to respond to for BBQ.
Yeah, definitely want to think twice about it, but wave clear is still quite strong. So they go ahead and they keep this turret safe for the time being. Not too much vision prep from the side of BBQ for that second Infernal. Just have a control ward inside the Tri-Brush. And that blue ward right there on your screen on the ramp. But it will be expiring before the dragon spawns, so they'll have to push forward and try to get some board down if they want to contest that.
Emphatic entrance by the Nautilus, but nothing really to fight for in the top lane. All the outer turrets up for Afreeca Freecs, so Marin doesn't need to overextend to pick up bomb most of the time. Just waiting for 40 seconds. Hopefully this will be the flare point, what has been otherwise pretty quiet early game.
Yeah, things have definitely slowed down. See though, mid laners wrapping their way around. Temp's gonna go forward, Valkyrie immediately away.
They cooldown down
safe.
though.
Yeah, they get rid of the Spirit Rush. That's gonna be a nice pickup.
Level 11 also just obtained from a minion dying. Actually, it might have been from the ward dying. There is experience now on ward kills.
Kuro still safe. Tucson pushes in, replaces the vision that was lost. And Afreeca look quite well set to go ahead and get ready for this second Infernal Drake.
This is the Drake you definitely think twice, 3 times, 4 times about competing against if you're BBQ. And it seems like they think better of.
Yeah, definitely would be rough without Tempt having his ultimate. They don't want to just go ahead and commit crazy in with the teleport, so they'll just hand this over, go equal in Infernal Drakes. So 8% additional stats for both sides. Ocean will be the next one to follow up. Where do the teams decide to go from here? Afreeca have a hell of a lot of pushing power. They can clear out these waves, shove people off the turrets with the Lucian ultimate.
And sure, Charm is one potential answer to a siege, but with Spirit Rush down, you're pretty safe from the Ahri. So if Nautilus is on the map, you feel pretty happy to send 380 carries under the outer mid lane turret and try and take it down. You have Tucson with the AoE speed up to get them out in a pinch. Yep, confirmation it will be Black Cleaver second from Kramer. I guess it could be Trinity Force. That was a build that was picking up some traction. I believe it was Blade the Ruin King Trinity Force before the latest round of lethality buffs. I'm thinking Black Cleaver.
Crazy. Trying to get the dredge line onto the big frog, finds Marn instead. Tucson were a bit closer, maybe could have gone in for the tether.
Graves has a giant spell. Interesting.
That he does. Okay, Spirit, where are you going with this one?
Could just be for the power right now. Of course, Graves still does get resists when he quick draws. We'll probably have to be one of the people furthest forward, so the pick power of Ahri and Kha'Zix will certainly be there.
Really good vision line going up through the jungle, as the Observer shows us that.
Maybe Frozen Mallet? I know they played with the build path a couple of times. I don't think it builds from Giant Spell. But
oh, Marn barely getting out of range of that dredge line. Doesn't have the equalizer, but not too much of a minion wave there for him to clear out anyway, so they can't get much damage.
Yeah, it is Giant Spell Joram's Fist, so I'm guessing Frozen Mallet Graves, which is certainly a tech choice that could be made by Graves. Not as much power as the Black Cleaver, but they would be overlapping Black Cleaver between Kramer and Spirit, so it's going to be more of a pseudo frontliner with the Frozen Mallet build.
We would really limit the mobility here for Tempt and Bless. We're able to jump around and really cripple Ghost on this Jhin. See if it's going to pay off for him. Spirit has looked quite good on this Grave so far. But now pinching into the top, trying to get onto Tempt, has the Spirit Rush and the Flash available. We go ahead, pop Spirit Rush, still takes a heck of a lot of damage, has to use the Proto Belt as well just to create additional distance.
There's no other objectives in that area, so looking to see what BBQ does on the map. Nautilus also already in position to get some damage onto the bot lane turret, probably no more than that.
As Marn's going down to match him.
He didn't quite have the home guard buff because we haven't quite hit 20 minutes, so we'll take his time.
Got the Scrap Shield to help speed him up every couple seconds, but still going to miss out on a decent bit of minions, and some damage will come through onto the turret in the end. So
longer that nothing happens as we reach the epicenter of Afreeca Freecs power spikes. Happy a BBQ should be in many ways. 1-2 items. They look very powerful. Soon will be the Black Cleaver. Haven't seen Kramer shop recently.
See the poke damage coming out onto Totoro. Pretty significant, so Kuro making use of those rockets in the Trinity Force to lay down as much as he can, but they still can't find an opening onto this turret. So, good to see the package going down. Oh no, never mind, finds Totoro. And now Kramer going low, gets locked down by Bless, and Ghost is able to pick up the kill. Crit call comes through, but Kuro's already out of range, so he's gonna have to cancel that one. Pushing forward, doesn't really want to flash in to go for the depth charge.
The angle really worked against Ghost, ended up having to cancel it early. Rumble is still fishing for an equalizer. Graves and Rumble have been playing around the bot side, hoping to see Jhin and Nautilus walk up. All right, it's time.
Here we go, Ghost immediately going to flash Marn the chase. Depth charge comes out, he'll get popped up. There's on the equalizer, but Ghost not really standing in this. Flash forward by Spirit, trying to get some damage in. The Flame Spitter, with the help of the Graves, will be able to take down the Jhin in the end, but now Afreeca, they have to get out of here. Tempt is arriving. Kuro already been taken out as Bless goes forward. Tempt burning down, but still alive. Can he go back in? He does. helps come up with a kill onto Marin. Tucson looking like he's going to fall. Has the shield to try to speed him up, but they're hot on his heels. Could very well find the kill. Flashes over and should be able to take himself out to safety. Unless Bless can really chase him down. But looks like he's going to go ahead and give up on that one. That was basically 4 kills picked up in the end for BBQ in that one fight.
The attempts to go to the edge of the fight so adeptly on this Ari was still able to put out damage and suck in the members of Afreeca Freecs. Marin's equalizer was actually pretty well positioned. It looked bad, but it was more about splitting the AD carry away from his team. So we're going to see the replay. This was, of course, with a member down as Lucian was dead. The reason why you equalize it there is suddenly Ghost has only one way to go. Ends up being taken down, but really nice stuff from Tempt on the backside of the fight. Was exhausted, but the fact that he fell low but continued to do damage. Bless had no mana, but just walked in out of vision, applied his passive, and turned around. Good stuff from BBQ. Close for parts of it, but they end up with a pretty sizable lead on the back end.
Yeah. They go ahead and they shrink that considerably. Now just a couple hundred separating them from Afreeca. And still going to be even in those dragons. Spirit, though, gets popped immediately. Bless goes over the wall, has that big isolation damage. Now Tucson getting roped up by that dredge line, gets taken out. As Crazy comes up with the kill. BBQ exploding back into this game. And now the ping's coming through. Looks like they might just be able to rotate down, pick up their second dragon with that Ocean Drake that's sitting right now in the pit.
That's poor stuff from Spirit. You can't just walk up against a pick comp when you don't have vision and be surprised when one of the pick CC tools takes you down. Tucson goes as well to pay for the sins of Spirit. Spirit's build still caught between items. We saw a turret fall before. Looks like another one will for BBQ, and they pick up a Drake as well. So the objective's rolling in for BBQ Olivers.
Yeah. Pays for the sins, but I don't think that they were absolved by that play right there.
Only a victory can absolve the sins, Achilles.
Spirit just playing disrespectfully towards this Kha'Zix.
Yeah, last time out, didn't have to deal
respectfully
with the need for respectful play, because they were pretty frequently ahead. I believe there was solo kills on Peanut in both Game 1 and Game 2 of that series against SKT. Need to understand their role. They are a siege disengage comp against a pick comp. And if they're walking in to charm range, to Nautilus depth charge range, then they're already losing the pressure war. Marin needs his troops to play respectfully, but also to play their strengths, which is around enemy turrets. However, when a siege comp starts to lose team fights, starts to lose vision control, every vision sweep or vision put down is a place of combat or flare point for BBQ. And, you know, even if damage hits, then there's Deadly Flourish, and then there's probably a pick for BBQ Olivers.
Yep, so far, been working out quite well for them as they move into just over 1,000 gold in the lead, 3 kills over top of Afreeca, and now even in turrets. So if they can just break this mid-tier 1, that would really open up the map for BBQ. See where Afreeca wants to go from here to try to swing themselves back into an advantageous position. Because every time they make a move, these last couple fights, BBQ has been able to answer right back and come out on top.
So your voice starts to die there. Come on, Achilles. We can do this. We can make it through. It's only a Jeanette series.
I'm chugging through as best as I can. It's
chugging
the start
what?
of the week.
Energy drinks?
Energy drinks definitely something that helped after that first series.
Chugging that sweet, sweet Korean League of Legends.
The tastiest drink of all.
That is a lot. That line of traps is so troll. I've never seen that before. Sick wave clear.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Samsol alone.
He is, but
blown
he's
already.
Got those 3 charges, plus the Proto Belt takes him out to safety. Didn't have to even have the flash available, but still ultimate burned by him. Afreeca have to be happy about that.
They have to be able to walk up here. When you see something like that used, like the Spirit Rush and Proto Belt, suddenly turret hits that weren't possible before are possible now. There's so many of them that someone inevitably is going to take this down, and there it is.
There we go. Yeah, Kramer able to take that out. The collateral damage didn't really gain much from Spirit, but it did help push BBQ back and split them away from the tower. So it does go down in the end.
But it's cool to see how something that in another game is inconsequential, like Ari Spirit Rushing, is so consequential against a siege comp, because suddenly the relative safety that you have, thinking, okay, I'm going to dodge that charm, it's so much lower when the redirection is possible with, you know, the first Spirit Rush into the charm. So you see the Spirit Rush down, suddenly Much more predictable is the Ahri and her attempts to find and engage. The new flash was still not up.
Oh boy.
This is spotted out, though.
Yeah, there is a ward in the pit. Ward in the bottom lane still hasn't started channeling that
Marn
teleport.
would really rather not come in, but it looks like he's going to be forced to.
Yeah, Baron down below half HP. Several wards thrown into the pit. BBQ, they're going to stick to this one like glue. Marn coming in from above. Spirit goes in, not able to take away the Baron as it is picked up by Bless, but he goes low. Big depth charge comes through, and that's going to be Marn getting deleted off the bat. Kramer as well, falling on the sidelines. His temp just dashes his way to a kill. Kuro getting locked up. There's the Roots, the final shot. Unable to miss from Ghost. That's an ace. That's a Baron. And BBQ, they're going to take this one straight down the mid lane. They might be able to get an inhibitor off this.
Clean ace and a mistake from Marn. Not the timing, but he wasn't actually using his Zonias just as Equalizer would have come up. He could have channeled that, would have died, but would at least put out some AoE damage, and the punishment is real from the BBQ Olivers. Baron, 2 turrets, will be 3. Still no respawns on the side of Afreeca Freecs, and you close your eyes, you blink, you close the stream for a second because you want to do something else, and you come back, and suddenly, goodbye inhibitor. And hello, potential game 1 victory for BBQ Olivers. That's 7,000 gold ahead.
Wow, I mean, what more can you say? This looked like a really bold call from BBQ, and it was, but they played this well. The smite not able to come through from Spirit to get the steal, and then
both players smited
straight into Kramer's face.
Both players smited, and it was left at 20 HP or so, and just finished up. And speaking of finishing up, Tempt had a field day on the back end of this fight. Nice turn from Ghost as well.
Yep, double kill for Ghost and Tempt.
That was just the perfect time with Equalizer down, and also no true frontliner on the side of Afreeca Freecs. Siege Comp's over-prioritizing starting Baron and being turned on, and a Siege Comp being forced to fight against a team with a true tank around Baron. Both of them are deadly, and this one may have pushed the game too far for Afreeca Freecs.
Yep.
Are we surprised at this point, though?
I guess not. I mean, I have to swap the saying, I suppose, but Afreeca taketh, Afreeca giveth away.
There's a lot of Robin Hoods, it turns out. Katie Rolster now doing some Robin Hood impressions this week against MVP. I don't know. It was just in the air, Achilles. I saw Dongjun, one of the Korean casts. I'm like, BBQ are going to win today, aren't they? And he's like, yeah, I think so too. So we were on the same wavelength. Afreeca Freecs, favorite against the best teams, but this is what they do against other teams. And we saw it from KT against MVP yesterday. There has just been this epidemic of top teams not dotting the I's and crossing the T's when they're in situations where they're favorites. Especially outright favorites, because we definitely have some closer matchups in the league this season, but when you're outright favorites like Afreeca after beating SK Telecom today, you wouldn't expect a performance of this caliber.
Definitely not. BBQ really showing up, but I mean, this was a rough early game for them. It seemed like Afreeca, you know, they really had the upper hand, but they just started turning those engages around on Afreeca, and now they're punishing them so thoroughly. An inhibitor down, you know, pre-30 minutes for BBQ against Afreeca Freecs is already a feat in and of itself, but now looking to close out this game in pretty swift fashion as all of the inner turrets have collapsed and a second inhibitor tower on the way. Temp lands the Charmin on the girl, works him down to about half HP as Bless starts threatening from the sidelines.
They just don't have any force. There's no force on the side of Afreeca. Sure, you could throw out an Equalizer, but that will just be moved away from on the side of BBQ. No other initiation. CC, this is a Siege Comp that plays from ahead.
Yeah.
They're anything but ahead. We'll find their base broken in every single way as the third inhibitor turret goes down, and maybe some kills on the back end.
Yeah, wow, Spirit just gonna get sniped out cleanly from Ghost, comes up with the solo kill. With that one, that's going to be 3 inhibs falling, and BBQ, could they just end it right here on this push? Spirit's dead for another 35 seconds, and Afreeca just looked completely shattered.
Still good wave clear, but Baron buff, minions pushing in. Big crit onto the first Nexus turret. They want to end it now.
That's his dash away. Equalizer does come down, trying to clear out the minions as best as possible. Marn gets snatched up by the dredge line. Has to pop the Zonias. The first Nexus turret goes down. Inhib in top still standing. BBQ did not rotate over to get rid of that, so it looks like they will just exit with that objective still available for Afreeca, but they have left the base crumble, and BBQ, they look really well set to close out this first game over Afreeca Freecs.
And making the draft work, making the Ahri pick work, because that was a surprise.
Yeah, 3-0 and 3.
Afreeca kind of opted into this Achilles. If you remember, blind picked top, blind picked mid. They got the picks that did so well for them against SKT, but the gameplay around the picks isn't the same. That's what's really changed from last Thursday to today, as BBQ have been very solid. Remember, they came in with no momentum. They were 0-4 in their last 2 against Longzhu and SKT. But big increase in level of performance for the BBQ Olivers. Had more tools from behind, so even when behind, they were still, okay, we've got the catch. We still have the potential to pick up the catch. And the moment that Spirit face-checked and was caught around the red side jungle and they got those 2 kills, they've always had vision supremacy. Afreeca have never been able to have the step-up setups they're looking for. And a bold call around Baron was really what cemented the game 1 for BBQ, at least where we stand at 32 minutes.
Yep. And a win here for BBQ would launch them in front of Afreeca. Whether it's a 2-0 or a 2-1, they will still inch into that 6th place spot. And get them very close to the scoreline of MVP. And that's where playoff contention comes in. Dredgeline goes forward, but Crazy unable to lock down Spirit. But the inhib will fall. Waves have been pushed out very well by Afreeca, so they will be able to hold on for a bit longer. Mid-inhib comes back up, but you have to expect that that's going to die immediately.
Now they'll probably have to back away, though. No minions to help in the push. It is a little bit risky. Equalizer, just to split the team.
Trying to save them off as much as possible. Zonias will mitigate that depth charge coming through, but Totoro with a help attempt is able to take out Marin to really start this fight off with a bang. Tucson goes down as well as Ghost takes him out. And now 2 members dead for 40 seconds. All 3 inhibitors down the super creeps, pushing into the base. Kuro getting locked down. The deadly flourish comes through, as well as that 4th and final shot as Ghost picks up another kill. The Nexus turrets, they're down. The Nexus is exposed. 33.5 minutes. BBQ, they will take down Afreeca Freecs very convincingly here in game 1.
To buff up the KDA, not to be, but the bizarro week of LCK continues. Gongnu Monster picked up their first victory in our first set. KT 2-0'd by MVP. SKT losing their first game and having to sub in Blank to win a series against Longzhu. And now Afreeca, another one of those playoff-bound teams, at least on paper, pay for some of their poor decisions in the mid-game especially. We talked about how strong they were at 2 items. Their decision-making didn't match their item power spikes. Spirit in particular, he's definitely been one of the most topsy-turvy players this season. Looked wonderful against Peanut and SKT. Left a lot to be desired in this particular game, and back to the drawing board for Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, for sure. Rough stuff here for Afreeca. Still, best of 3 set. Could go ahead and fire back as they get ready to swap over to the blue side, which has been historically quite strong for them. But a very good showing for BBQ here in game 1. And if they're able to close this out with a 2-0, what a statement that would make.
I mean, it's the biggest game win for BBQ so far this season in terms of single games. Finally taking a game off one of those top echelon teams. So at least that part feels good. We had the Afreeca Freecs before, Samsung before, sorry, who could beat everyone below them but struggled to beat teams above them. Took the next step, made it to World Finals. Different story for Samsung Galaxy this year. BBQ Olivers, very solid and dependable against the lower teams, but have struggled against top teams, so feels good to pick up that victory. Afreeca made a lot of mistakes, but not to take anything away from a cleanly played game and an interesting draft with the Ahri for BBQ Olivers.
Yeah, showing a lot of diversity here with these picks. And Kramer, going back to that Lucian, something that he has been beloved for him in the past, not working out at all here in this first game, so can expect that we won't see that one on the Rift.
Didn't provide initiation, didn't really do anything in team fights when they didn't have any CC to back it up. Utility AD carries the meta for a reason, and honestly, Afreeca were desperately looking for one.
Yep. We'll see what Afreeca wants to bring to the board as they rotate back over to the blue side, again, where they have been the strongest in their past games. BBQ, they're going to put their heads together and do their damnedest to close this out with a 2-0 and make a statement to those teams resting in the top 5 spots. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if they're able to do that, so don't go anywhere, guys. Game 2 coming up in just a few.